Woo! This is Brooklyn, St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics, and this is Ask the Aquaponics God, preventing you from becoming a biscuit-headed grower. Woo! Today we have an episode from a gentleman who's just getting started in aquaponics, getting ready to put his system together, and we want to prevent this gentleman from going down biscuit-headed lane in a Lamborghini. Let's see what we got here. Roll the tape.
Hey Brooklyn, this is Seth from Oklahoma.
Woo! What's up, Seth, man? I thought your name was George. Which one is it? The email says George. Now you're telling me it's Seth? Which one is it? You working for the FBI?
Representing Live Well Greenhouse Grocery. I'm getting ready to start my aquaponics system as far as the build goes, and I wanted to get some input from you to see if I'm not going to be a biscuit head. I'm just going to give you a rundown. I'm in a 8x12 greenhouse that I built, pretty sturdy, and what I plan on doing, I'll kind of give you a little idea.
Greenhouse structure looks pretty nice, by the way.
This line right here is 4 foot high, and from here up to about 2 foot I plan on doing a vertical tower grow system that drains into an NFT.
I have to stop you right there, Mr. Seth, with the email name George. Well, that's the first mistake that I want to prevent you from making, is connecting the vertical system to an NFT system. If you went through some of my past videos, I always like to explain that I do not like connecting, and I never recommend connecting any of these systems together. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So you can have your vertical system, you can have your NFT system. These two can actually be combined in one system because they're basically the same thing. A vertical system is basically just an NFT system upside down or straight up and down. That's all it is. So, but we don't want to connect them together because what happens is if it clogs at the vertical system, if it clogs up there coming through the tubes, dripping down or supplying the water to the plants in the vertical system, the NFT system is going to get the bad end of that as well. So if it stops up there with the vertical, then the NFT doesn't get any supply. So that's something that we want to eliminate, that a point of failure. So we want to separate those two, and I'll talk more about it as we can. Matter of fact, I'll talk about it now. So what you want to do is, I seen your email. You said you're going to run a split flow. So what you want to do, instead of running them both, connecting them both together, you want to separate both of those. Have both of those systems under pressure. You want your vertical system under pressure separately, and you want your NFT system separately under pressure. The sump tank coming up, connecting to the vertical, connecting to the NFT, and then going back and returning to wherever you're going to go in the rest of this video. And we'll go more into it as we keep watching. So we don't want to connect them though. Woo!
That goes down to about here, and that will flow into my fish tank after I clean this refrigerator out. That I'm going to have drain into a ebb and flow.
No, let's stop it here. I thought you said split flow. Let me see. I will have a split flow growing to the fish tank and the grow tower. So the way you're explaining it here is not the same thing you're writing in the email. Are you the same person, Seth? Is this the same person that I'm talking to? The email says split flow. Here you're showing me a gravity force type of arrangement. So it's two different things. The email, you had it correct. You would have it split flowing. Sump tank, split flowing, going into the vertical setup, and then a separate part of the split flow going to the NFT, and then the other portion going to the fish tank. That's what you would have, because it's going to be very difficult. You're not going to have enough, most likely you're not going to have enough towers and NFT systems to supply enough water to the fish tank to replenish and exchange the water inside of the fish tank. So that's why you want to have the fish tank under pressure. You definitely don't want this set up. Because if you have it that way, the vertical tower gets clogged up or it's not working, your NFT system's not working, you're not going to get any water to your fish tank. NFT systems and vertical systems clog frequently. So you definitely don't want this to happen, because if you're not getting water to your fish tank, obviously they're going to end up dying. There's no oxygen being replenished. So we definitely don't want to do it that way. So have your sump tank split up one way to the fish tank, its own separate under pressure, up to the NFT system, up to the vertical system, NFT system, those are both going to be coming back to the sump tank. That's it. They're going to run their own little circuit back to the sump tank. And then the pressure going to the fish tank is going to go to the fish tank. And then from there, it's going to go through filtration, which you're going to talk about right now coming up.
System, more like a Dutch bucket, which that I'm going to filter down into a sump, kind of using the Dutch buckets as the biofilter.
Get the Dutch bucket out of here. We don't want to use a Dutch bucket for the filtration unit. We do not want to do that. The Dutch bucket is, you're probably going to have gravel in there, 3/4 inch gravel or pea gravel. That's only going to remove large solids. That's only going to remove those large solids. Eventually, those solids are going to end up breaking down, and they're going to end up recirculating throughout the system. Those are not good filtration units at all. They're not really that good. They're decent for, if you're doing a regular media bed, because you can do, but you have to do low stocking density in order for that to work. You have to do low stocking density. If you do it this way, when the solids get captured in the media or in your Dutch bucket, they're going to end up decomposing in there. And they're going to be breaking down. You're going to have denitrification problems in there. You're going to have pH problems, and you're going to become an aquaponic maintenance man, because the way you got to go in there, and you're going to have to go in there and clean that thing frequently. You're going to have to go in there and clean that thing frequently, removing all that stuff out of there, cleaning out the gravel, cleaning it out, then putting it back in there. We're talking about once a day. So once a day. We're talking about something around there. If you're doing your aquaponics, once, maybe twice a day. Maybe twice a day. I would not suggest that. What I suggest you doing is getting a radial flow filter for this setup. You can get a radial flow filter and set it up that way, coming from the fish tank, and then that will suffice. And then from the radial flow filter goes into a fine solid removal component. That's what I would do, and then it will come back down into the sump tank. Therefore, you have your solid removing capabilities intact. You're gonna have to clean. You're still gonna have to clean. You're gonna have to do maintenance if you do it that way. But the maintenance is going to be a lot less strenuous than if you do it with a Dutch bucket. The Dutch bucket setup, you're going to have this big thing of rocks in there, and the cleaning that thing is you're going to be a maintenance man, an aquaponics maintenance man, and you're not going to enjoy it. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to like it if you're going to do aquaponics correctly. You're not going to like to do that cleaning with that media. So let's skip that right now, Seth, with the email name George. Let's skip it right now. I want to save you from doing that. If you really want to get down and dirty, which I'm going to be showing you guys, I have already. I got a lot of material. I'm building some more systems using some manufactured products. I'm going to be showing you guys a bead filter. If you really want to get down and dirty, this system, I would put a bead filter on it, and then that would remove the solids and do biological filtration at the same time, simultaneously. That's what we're going to be getting into. Getting into bead. A lot of people don't have any clue about bead filters. Just pretty much limited to media bed filters and radial flow filters and swirl filters. But there's other filters out there. And the bead filter is definitely top of the line. Definitely top of the line. Costs some money, but that's the game of aquaponics. This thing costs money. You got to invest in this game. So if you want to do it right. So I have a lot of material. Got some projects going on that we're building. Going to be showing you guys. And you guys are going to be seeing some of the other builds. But let's keep going. So I think that's pretty much the end. Let's keep going. Let me hear the rest of this.
I think the fish tank is about 150 to 200 gallons. Just kind of, I haven't seen anything really on calculating flow rates for the NFT system to make sure that they're getting enough water, but at the same time pumping enough for the fish.
And that's a good question. That's a really good concern. So for NFT systems, vertical systems, I try to aim for somewhere around 7 gallons per minute. 7 gallons per minute, and this is going to vary, but that's pretty much on the low side. It's going to vary depending on your the outside temperature and also the water temperature. That's going to determine if you need more flow rate going in or if you need less. But that's what I would aim for, 7 gallons per minute. And that's what I was going back to the problem that I was saying is you have to have, for your fish tank, I'm going to recommend, as a rule of thumb, once per hour. Whatever your fish tank size is, the water exchange rate should be once per hour.
Just want to make sure that the system's constantly moving. Plan on doing a Tvalve from the sump to the fish tank and from the sump up to the vertical grow towers.
So you explained it, so I'm confused here. So you explained it So you're doing a T. That sounds like you're doing a split flow. But the way you explained it, where you have it going from the fish tank coming down, you want a T going to the fish tank, a T going to the vertical. Oh, so I got you. Yeah, you are split flowing it. Okay, I got it now. You are split flowing it, but you don't want to connect that to the you don't want to connect your towers to the fish tank. You don't have to do that. There's no point of doing that. If you already have a split flow going to the fish tanks, then that's fine. You already have your supply line, pressure line going to the fish tank. You could do it that way. So I misunderstood what you were talking about in the beginning. I thought you were just relying on your total flow going to the vertical system, then down to the NFT, then down to the fish tank, and just kind of like a circular motion. But I see what you're doing. You could do it that way. You're supplying your pressure to the fish tank, and you're supplying your the leftover coming from the vertical system and the NFT going into the fish tank. I see what you're doing. You could do it that way, but it's not really doing anything extra. I mean, you could do it that way. But it's going to be easier if you just run them back to the sump tank. It's going to be easier, and you're not going to have all your systems as high. When you do it that way, they have to be high. If you did it the other way and just ran them back to the sump tank, you can lower them down. So that would be your benefit or your option if you do it that way. But yeah, you have the right idea. You definitely have the right idea. You got your split flow going. I apologize for jumping the gun, but I seen it at the end. But other than that, fix your filtration, mainly your filtration. Get your water, your pump size correctly. Get your water flow going, and you should prevent yourself from becoming an aquaponics maintenance man and a biscuit-headed grower. This is Brooklyn, St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics. Seth, I want to appreciate you for sending in your video. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Bring your video, submit your video, Brooklyn at theschoolaquaponics.com. Do not send me any words. I don't want to see words. I don't have time to sit here and be trying to piece together your system and your diagram. Send me the video, just like my man Seth, with George as the email name, just like he did, explaining what's going on. I don't have time, 30 minutes, an hour to sit here and try to figure out your blueprint, and I don't have time for that. I got other projects and other students to deal with. I got a lot of stuff going on. It's easy when I can just look at it like this, knock it out, give you the advice, and call it a day. Simple as that. Brooklyn at theschoolaquaponics.com. Submit your video, detailed explanation, system explanation, and I will help you out. This is Brooklyn with the School of Aquaponics, and I will see you on the next episode. Woo!